Taylor Swift holds the power to sway the 2024 election, as a new poll finds that a fifth of voters are likely to back a candidate endorsed by the singer. Recognizing this potential game changer, sources state Joe Biden is desperately seeking endorsement from the pop sensation to boost his poll numbers. Would Taylor...
You already know what it is. It's your boy Laid Back with another reaction, another review, another episode. Hey, TikTok, you up to bat. Bah. It's your boy Laid Back. Welcome back to my channel. Hey, two things we gotta do. You gotta hit that subscribe button. I'm drinking this water. You already know what it is, man. Elevate more in 2024. Elevate more in 2024. Hey, don't forget, I'm running a promo code right now. 15% off. You use the code Elevate, man. But look, we back with another TikTok joint. You make it to the end of this one, you're a real one for real. This is about America. A lot of stuff. A lot of these is about the perspective of America and what's going on in America today, and also the election or lack thereof. Anyway, but if you into this stuff, man, I got a full TikTok playlist. I be seeing some of y'all be like, yo, Laid Back, I'm been watching all of this stuff right now. Shout out to you, man. But yeah, I got a TikTok playlist. You can check it all out. But look, we back with another one. Let's go ahead and get into it. Fire Squad, what's popping? Let's get it.
The American people are the biggest slaves of any citizenship in the entire world, because the American people are the only people that are told, go work super hard, go take a massive amount of your life, and we're going to take at least half your money. When we take half your money, we're going to send it overseas, or we're going to mismanage it, or we're going to send it over here for quote unquote aid. Where's our motherfucking aid? Where's our aid from Kuwait or any of these other rich countries to fix our homeless problem? Do you ever notice that none of the other citizens on the planet work so that we can have a better here in America? Wow. It's always the other way around. Why the f*** are we, the citizens of the United States of America, financing the well-being of every other f***ing country in this planet? Until people wake up to that and say no more, shit's gonna continue. This land of the free, that's a f***ing joke. Land of the motherfucking worker bees is what we are.
He came out smoking.
The dark side of America is the annoying things we have to do to live in this country. I wish people advertise America, at least like in one of those fancy TV commercials, right? America, land of opportunities, entertainment, welcome to America. Side effects include taxes, insurance, AAA, MasterCard, PayPal, Visa, dues, fees, mortgage. Credit score. Obesity, anxiety, depression, high expectations, rejection, panic attack. Premature death.
Wow.
If you feel nauseous, don't call your doctor. You're illegal. You don't have one.
Wow.
For more information, visit IshouldHaveNeverLeftMyCountry.com.
Wow.
How did America get away with so many war crimes? In the beginning, when America was founded, the idea was that all people were supposed to be treated equally. It was written in something called the Declaration of Independence. But there's a problem. Even though they said that, they ended up doing some really bad things, like hurting a lot of people. To make it seem okay, they came up with a tricky plan called Manifest Destiny. It was like a set of instructions that tried to convince people that God wanted them to do it. And guess what? Some people actually believed it. Sadly, around 10 million Native Americans lost their lives because of this. Instead of taking responsibility, they said,
do your own research. I forgot to say that. Do your own research.
Sorry, but we had to do it. God made us do it. Anyways, if you want to learn more about other fascinating topics, make sure to subscribe. Hit that follow button and let's explore history together.
For those of you that don't understand how truly awful the US has become, I'm going to put it into perspective for you. I saw my aunt yesterday and she told me a story that absolutely blew my mind. And it's really hard to tell me a story about the evil that America is right now that surprises me. But this surprised me. It's on another level.
Okay.
So my aunt is a realtor, and she had a client in the past that she sold a second farm to. He is a farmer, and he raises cattle, making an honest living, and so his original farm wasn't big enough for all of his cattle, so he had to get a second farm. And then his wife got pregnant, and then a medical emergency happened. So basically, the baby was born extremely prematurely, and the wife almost died, but that's a separate issue. And so I want you to guess. I want you to formulate a number in your head about how much you think it cost for that baby to be in the hospital for 4 months because it was a premature baby. Take a minute, think about it. $900,000.
Wow.
Almost $1 million. What small business owner, farmer has $1 million? So now he has to sell his second farm. He has to sell some of those cattle. And for what? So his baby could survive. America, right? So pro-life, huh?
Wow.
I don't know why a lot of my fellow Ghanaians actually think like this. If you are Ghanaian, or not even just a Ghanaian, you could just be West African in general, or somebody that's just from Africa in general. I don't know why a lot of you guys actually think that America is a place where it's flowing with milk and honey. It's all rainbows and sunshines and cookies and cream. Massa, it is not like that at all. The only good thing I can really say is America is definitely the land of opportunity. If you really come here and you work hard and you focus, you can definitely make it. But it's not going to be easy.
That's true.
Let me tell y'all something, man. A lot of y'all come into this country and y'all start to find out that, man, this country is really, really tough. The one thing they don't tell you guys is that, number one, if you're coming into this country and you don't have a place to stay, massa, you're going to suffer. We pay rent every single month. It's not like Ghana where we pay rent at least once a year, or, you know, you pay once every 3 years or something like that, depending on whatever it is.
Wow.
We pay rent every single month. We pay rent, we pay car bills, we pay light, we pay electricity, even the air condition. And from everything in this country, you pay for it. From phone bill, every single month. I'm trying to tell you, the system in Ghana is completely different from the system here in America. But if I'm gonna be honest with you, if you guys are really, really coming into the United States, make sure, I'm telling you, make sure you got a good place to stay and you got papers to work with. Because if you don't have your papers, you're gonna be working these under-table jobs. These under-table jobs will pay you so low, you're gonna wish, you're gonna wish, Christ, that you're back in Ghana. I'm telling you right now, if you want to come to this country, please make sure you have your papers. Make sure you find a way to actually get your papers. Number two, make sure you have a good place to stay. Because if you come here, Massa, you're going to just come and see these other people that are over here that are suffering. There are a lot of people that are struggling here in this country. America is not a place of milk and honey, cookies and sunshine. When you come into the system, make sure you understand how the system works. Learn how the system works. I'm trying to tell you, talk to somebody who knows the system. Let them teach you how the system works so that you can be very well educated before you step foot in this country. Because I don't want you to step foot in this country without actually being prepared.
That's a fact. Big fact.
The history of the United States, which was 100% based on human trafficking.
100%.
Our country's foundation is human trafficking. They fucking kidnapped black people and made them work for free. George Washington, did you know this, was the #1 slaveholder in Virginia, wherever the fuck he was? Supposedly his wooden teeth thing was slave teeth. George Washington was a human trafficker who had in his mouth the teeth of people that were kidnapped that he was making work for free. This makes Dahmer look like a fucking Boy Scout.
Should you allow people to just pull down the statues?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, but if there were Jeffrey Dahmer statues all over LA?
No, you make a good point.
Ooh, great point.
This is the secret history of America. As children, we were taught that the Spaniards came over and found an indigenous and savage people. But what the history books don't tell you is that there was an advanced civilization here already. Early archaeologists were dumbfounded when they found hundreds of giant-sized mummies in burial mounds.
Wow.
These discoveries led a British prospector named J.C. Brown to travel to a place called Mount Shasta in California. He found a cave at the base of the mountain that spiraled 11 miles into the earth.
Wow.
And it was there that he found an ancient underground city. Inside, he found gold and silver and giant, colossal weapons. but there was no people anywhere. And it was only on his way out that he found thousands of mummies buried inside another cave. He brought back one of the skeletons and wanted to share this news with the world, but on the day of the departure, J.C. Brown was murdered in his tent.
No way. No way. Is that a true story?
Traveling makes you realize that America literally makes people anxious and depressed. I always thought that growing up in America, I would be more happy because I have more wealth, more opportunity, more everything. But I realize I've met people like this woman over here. All she does every single day from morning to evening is sell people drinks. And this woman is so happy. I've asked her, she probably makes the equivalent of $25 or $30 a day USD. But she is still happy. Yet I have friends back home who probably make 6 figures, near 7. They're not happy. Yet this woman still somehow finds happiness. It's absolutely mind-boggling. People are more happy here because there is a sense of community and you belong to something greater than yourself. So even though you may not have as much material wealth as America or other countries, you still find so much happiness being here. It's absolutely insane.
That's very important.
And it's crazy to say this because ever since I was a kid or teenager living in America, they want to put me on ADHD medication, anxiety medication, depression medication, tell me to talk to 20 different therapists. Yet I'm like, just for living, just for existing. And I go here, these people have nothing, yet they're dancing on the street on a Sunday night, being happy. And it just blows my mind still to this day. People here don't equate their self-worth with being productive or constantly improving or constantly trying to make more money, trying to start 10 businesses, getting into Bitcoin, crypto, entrepreneurship, investing, all of this. Honestly, it's like in America, your worth is determined by how beautiful you are, how much money you make, how much fame or success you have. That's how your worth is determined. So if you feel...
And that stuff is breaking people down. Keeping it 100. That stuff is breaking people down mentally, physically, spiritually, all of that. Just because of where the true value to them lie. That's never been important. I mean, it's important. You need some of that stuff to survive, but you don't need it in excess. And it don't need to dominate your life. You know what I mean? Like the true things that's important, like you're talking about, family, community, the people that you love. Like that's the stuff that's really important, but not to, talk too much.
You're not popping on social media if you feel you don't make enough money. If you feel you're not beautiful, your worth declines mentally. And that's why you end up feeling so bad about yourself, because from a young age, you were programmed so much. But here, you don't live to work. Your worth isn't measured by productivity or success. It's you just work to live. Your job is simply to support yourself. It's not some crazy thing. And you find purpose in other things like family, talking to people, hanging out with people, just having fun. Literally being a human being, being alive is the goal.
Absolutely.
So I don't know, like, in America, people complicate things way too much. There's like 5 steps to life. It's not like that. You just live.
I like that.
This is the most dangerous street in America. Located on the south side of Chicago lies the block of South King Drive, known as O Block. This block is famous for being the birthplace of Michelle Obama and gang-affiliated rappers such as Lil Durk, King Von, and Chief Keef. From 2011 to 2014, there were more shootings and deaths on O Block than anywhere else in the United States. But how exactly did this place become so violent and dangerous? Well, the violence stems mainly from gang rivalries. The Black Disciples gang controls both sides of King Drive and Parkway Gardens, while the rival gang known as the Gangster Disciples controls the neighborhood to the east. These two groups used to be united under the Black Gangster Disciple Nation, or otherwise known as BGDN. But in 1989, poor leadership ended up causing the group to split into 2 rival gangs that exist today in the O Block neighborhood. Chief Keef and King Von were both part of the Black Disciples, which controls the highly desired section of O Block known as Parkway Gardens.
Dang, they giving the tea, ain't they?
The top 3 dirtiest cities in the USA. Number 3, Houston, Texas. Houston, a hub for the oil and gas industry, faces substantial air pollution challenges. The city's reliance on fossil fuels, coupled with industrial emissions, has resulted in consistently poor air quality. In 2024, Houston reported more than 40 days with elevated levels of smog, posing health risks for its population and highlighting the environmental impact of heavy industrialization. Number 2, Los Angeles, California. Los Angeles, notorious for its traffic congestion, ranks as one of the most polluted cities in terms of air quality. The combination of vehicle emissions and industrial activities contributes to elevated levels of particulate matter. In 2023, the city reported over 100 days with unhealthy air quality, impacting both the environment and the health of its approximately 4 million residents. Before revealing the number 1, remember to subscribe and like the video. Number 1, New York City. With a population density of over 27,000 people per square mile, New York City faces significant challenges in waste management. The sheer volume of daily activities contributes to high pollution levels, and the extensive use of transportation adds to air quality concerns.
How many days of smog they had in the comments?
States are calling for transgenocide. We are in stage 7 of genocide.
Stage 7? Hold on, wait. I had to go to Google and do some digging to find out that there are even stages of genocide. Okay, yes, people, stages. In fact, there are 10. And she said we're in the 7th one? We already did this one, right? Stage 1, classification. And if anyone should know better, it's people of color about classification. This is why I was not finna jump on that transphobia woo train, because stage 1 is classification. Anytime you can't be cool with someone being themselves, you consider them, and you, us, it's a problem. Excluding people who are perceived to be different. We know about that. Stage 2, symbolization. Pause and read. Does that sound familiar? Now let's get to stage 3. Woo, the big one. Not really, because it gets worse. Uh-oh. Start saying who can do what, huh? Who can marry who, huh? Stage 4, those perceived as different, are treated with no form of human rights or personal dignity. Organization. And what political party or organization could be targeting trans or black folks? Usually targets everyone. And definitely not saying that the other one's better, just an FYI. And I just wanted to point out, because we're only at stage 5, that every step, every stage has been an opportunity for the people to say something or stop it. So we've let it get past this point. Polarization. The propaganda stage. That's where that whole cis movement got its real thing from, eh? This should be the most obvious stage to me. Been noticed it pretty much my whole life, at least for me and my people. And keep in mind, if there's room to make propaganda, that means it was planned, right? The organization. Newspapers and news outlets, like, y'all not picking that up? Well, here we are, stage 7, us, right now. Perpetrators plan the genocide. They use euphemisms such as those phrases. They even go on to use ideals to cloak their intentions under the guise of good morals, Christianity. And they get you super paranoid, like, oh no, you're children, when they could really give a fuck. Like, wasn't there just a school shooting yesterday? Stage 8, persecution. Pause and read. And let's not act like we haven't been here in history before. Be fucking for real with yourself right now. Oh, racism isn't real. That's not real. That's not real.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
The purpose of our magazine is to tell the truth about what happened to our country and our continents before Columbus. And if it shows that there were white Vikings here, and there were, we tell that. And if it shows that there were Asians here visiting, Chinese here visiting Mexico, we'll tell about that. And if there were blacks here, we have to tell that too. That's all part of our heritage. And I think it's thrilling and exciting for all of us. It's remarkable. So what we're telling you, I mean, this is just in a nutshell, and you're going to be seeing a lot more of this, not just in our magazine. Believe me, you're going to be seeing this on TV. It's bound to burst out because it's really known in the archaeological community. You've had 4 of these major impacts that the black people have made to the Americas, not only before Columbus was born, but before even Spain or Italy existed. That's the kind of roots that are in this country. And by knowing that, and the more you know about it, it's an empowerment. You're really rooted. You have got a heritage which is more than slavery. Sure, there was slavery, but that's not all. That's a small part of it. Long before that, there's a heritage of kings, seafarers, religious missionaries, and they were all here. But it happened so long ago, there's just so little of it left. And that's basically my story. What connects it up is even the word Moor, because it's pronounced differently in different parts of even of Africa. And they call themselves Moor, Mu, Mur. There's all variations of that, so that even the name Muir. I'll leave you with one thing which is really interesting, too, that relates to this. The Mali kingdom, part of their religion, around 900 AD, they believed in a god called Vodun. Vodun or Vodan. And they said Vodan was this great sailor who came across the sea, and he taught the Yoruba and the Benin how to work with metals. And he was their man god, as it were. He was like their founding father, their George Washington, was Vodun. And he brought tablets. They said they brought tablets, which he taught people how to read. Vodan was his name. Vodan and Vodun. Across the ocean, all the way across the Atlantic Ocean, amongst what they call the Quiché Maya, or the lowland Maya that I talked about, they have a tradition of a god they called Vodan, same name, who brought tablets across the sea to tell them how to work metals.
Wow.
So here we're dealing with the same tradition. This is something which is not made up or interpretive. It's the actual fact. It's the truth. So the more of these you have, like I say, the greater the sense of empowerment. So I'm going to stop here because I think these photographs are better than anything I can say. And if you have any questions, feel free to interrupt the action here. Yeah, I'm going to have to turn the slide off, I guess.
Man, I wanted to see what those pictures look like. Let me know about him.
It's crazy how we all know this, but we continue repeating the same cycle. Let me roll this clip.
I wonder why so many young people don't trust the system. It's because this is America 2.0. Brainwash kids for 8 hours a day until they're 18. Tell them they have to go to college and go $100K in debt or they'll never succeed. Make student loan debt unforgivable, more expensive yearly, and yet their parents' tax dollars go to those same schools. Make it illegal to have unpaid internships where you actually learn rather than just theorize. Pressure the top performers to go into 2 of the most uncreative jobs out there, Wall Street and consulting, or idealize startups that will require sleeping on floors, racking up massive debt from VCs so 1 out of 10 of them can end up on the cover of Fortune. Then get mad at them for not working hard enough and quiet quitting when they can't afford houses, they hate their jobs, and their loans keep stacking. If that doesn't keep their heads down, then send them to war in a foreign land. We have to fix America 2.0. That's why kids don't want to keep playing this game.
Respect, for sure.
We aren't free. I hate it here. Well, then why don't you leave? Why don't you go to the Middle East?
Oh my goodness. Okay, when I was in Korea for like 4 months studying abroad, at first I was really like, oh, America sucks, because at that time I really hated Trump and I thought that he was tearing America apart. I thought he was going to get us into a war with North Korea, when in fact he actually made peace with them, which was very surprising. But yeah, anyway, I started off hating the United States when I went to South Korea, and then during the middle of it, I found myself chanting USA. I started getting homesick and missing America, missing everything about it. I really feel like it's people who have never been outside of this country who really hate it. And you know what? I wish that they would get out of this country. As a native English speaker, this location in America is perfect for me. The opportunities here are endless. Yes, we have racism. Yes, we have problems. But name me one country that doesn't have racism and name me one country that doesn't have problems. Oh, I'll wait.
America is not what it once was. I've got some bad news for people who don't travel internationally. The world hates us, okay? We're not the big dogs. We don't have the clout that we once had. We aren't even like statistically on top of anything, education or anything anymore. And I've traveled a lot internationally. Over COVID, obviously, I stopped. And there's always been an underlying tone that America is dangerous. But, we run Hollywood, so a lot of the media that is consumed by people in other countries is still American. However, I'm on my first international trip since COVID, and it has gotten worse. I have heard from every nationality that America is dangerous, but I arrived in Indonesia, which is a country that, you know, a lot of people aim to get out of and go to America. And the first thing that my taxi driver says to me is that he's afraid of America because of all the poppy seeds that we're taking and all the jazz powder that people are using. And he's convinced that people are walking around the US like zombies.
Wow.
Because that's what's on the internet. That's what these people are seeing. And I think it's a really big lesson if you are sheltered and are not leaving the US. We don't got it. Like, we don't got it anymore. People don't want to live in America. People aren't eager to live in America. When I was in Europe, a lot of the kids said their parents wouldn't let them go to America because they were afraid they were going to get popped by the police.
Wow.
Like, those are the fears. The only fear that Americans have when their children travel overseas is that they're going to be, like, in the movie Taken, which is a very small possibility. And they just use that as a fear. I don't even, like, that's not really even a founded fear. People aren't taking Americans when we go, because you know how big of a hell case they would raise if some little white girl went missing? That's not what's happening. But what is happening is other people from other nations are going to America and bad things are happening to them. So,
wow.
Just a reminder, we ain't shit. We ain't shit.
This stuff is crazy to hear.
I don't think we'll ever get to the 2024 election. I think things are going to implode in Washington before then. I think our economic financial condition is fragile. It's going to come home to roost in ugly ways. I will tell you, I don't know exactly how it will happen. I think we're going to end up in a situation where we find out the banks are closed for 2 or 3 weeks. Wow. And nobody can get into them.
You think so?
I think we're going to run into something like that, yeah. I also think that the levels of violence and criminality in our cities is so high that it's going to spill over into other places in society. People that normally think they can live remote from the problem are now beginning to be touched by the problem. Then I look at this thing in Ukraine. I think Ukraine is going to lose catastrophically. It's going to be a complete collapse. And that, too, is going to have an effect here at home because people are going to say, well, wait a minute. Everybody told us Ukraine was winning. Everybody told us X, Y, and Z. I mean, sort of the Russian hoax on steroids. All of those things are going to come together or converge in some way that's going to prevent us from reaching, you know, the status quo. Oh, another election. Oh, another set of campaigns and so forth.
This dude do not sound like it's going to end well.
Bro, the United States is so cooked for the elections this year, it's not even funny anymore. Because on one side, you got fucking Biden, who at this point can't even remember what year he was president or when his son died. Like, legitimately, a court of law cannot prosecute this man because he's able to take the defense that he's just an old senile man who doesn't mean any harm. And that doesn't disqualify you from running our country? And then on the other side, you have Trump, who's straight up over here extorting NATO nations, being like, you will pay us protection money or we will let Russia destroy you. But then again, that's not even fucking surprising either. That's just like, oh, whoa, Trump wants to run the country like a mob boss? That's, who would have thought? But goddamn, like, how is it just 2020 all over again, but fucking worse? I'm sorry, bro, but like, Democrats, I have no fucking sympathy for you anymore. Because Republicans are obviously having their own little identity crisis, trying to figure out, like, are we really going with Trump for the future, or can we try to get somebody else? And it's starting to look like it's just Trump all the way. But you at least gotta, like, give it to Republicans for being outwardly evil and, like, not even sugarcoating it. Because Democrats pretend that they're, like, the saviors of the universe and then ask their marginalized communities they're supposed to represent for more money while not helping any laws get passed that would actually help those communities. Y'all have had 2 fucking years to figure out a candidate to go up against Trump, and you're still landing on Biden. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Talk.
You have correctly projected every U.S. presidential election, as well as many other national elections, for more than 2 decades now. So,
who is this person?
What do you think of 2024?
2024 is going to be the most, it's always easy to say the most unique election in American history, but we're dealing with an incredibly unprecedented situation here where we've got a former president and a president running against one another. We've got a former president with facing 91 criminal charges with 4 broad indictments. We have 60% of the American public that does not like either of the candidates. we've got so many variables out there right now. Now, I did a piece recently that said that, remember, polls are not predictors, they're snapshots in time. We're over a year out from the election. But if the election were held roughly about now, the election is down to about 5 states that really matter, the 5 swing states. But if you total it all up, right now, Donald Trump is probably ahead in the Electoral College.
Wow.
But there are polls that indicate among swing voters, a criminal conviction could change the game for some of them, because we're really down to what? As I say, it's a handful of swing voters and a few swing counties in 5 swing states that decide the election. I think the election's down to roughly 100,000 or so voters next year that are going to decide the election.
Wow.
And then now we have new variables.
Do you appreciate how crazy that statement is? I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying it's just really crazy.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, it is crazy. Now we have new variables out there. We've got, and it's a whole nother show for another day. We've got a guy named Robert Kennedy Jr. polling 20% in the polls. And as we speak, Liz Cheney is thinking of entering the presidential race as an independent. And if that were to happen, we have an incredible set of variables that we haven't seen in a long time. So this is a complex one for me.
So he's saying
right
Trump.
Now, come back to me. Come back to me in a few more months when a few things settle. I can have a better picture. But this is a hard one to predict right now.
For sure. I wanted to make a historical comment here and get your take. As far as a former president running against a sitting president, I mean, again,
right.
That has happened before. Cleveland. Right. This happened with Cleveland and Harrison. The difference is the sort of a rancid politics and populism, the criminal charges and what have you. In fact, Cleveland, in the interim 4 years that he was not president and ran against Harrison again, was sort of a model of bringing politics together, and so that part is really different. Do you see vengeance as I don't know, as a platform in 2024?
Yeah, let's come back to Taylor Swift. It's about anger. Anger, vengeance. It's still all about emotion. Politics is about emotion, and there are good emotions and there are bad emotions. Anger and vengeance or revenge, I think, is what's driving part of this campaign for Trump.
And that's unfortunate. Dr. Schultz, thank you so much for educating me and our listeners. And to our listeners, if you know of any history that could provide more perspective from the past on this subject, please share it with us and tell us what's your perspective. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Talk to you later.
As a registered Democrat, no, I'm not voting for Joe Biden. Sorry, not sorry. I don't know how else to put this. Like, you can't pay me enough. You can't gaslight me enough. You can't feed me those weak talking points. I'm not voting for him. I don't see how anybody in their right state of mind can look at what's going on right now nationally and internationally and scream Biden 2024. It will not sit well with my spirit to know that I cast a ballot for someone like him. This whole concept of gaslighting people into voting for Biden because he's better than Trump, I'm letting you know it's far gone. I'm going to let y'all know this, Democrats. If you want Biden to win in 2024, you have to come up with a better talking point than just he's better than Trump. I'm letting you know now, vast majority of Americans are not scared of Trump. They survived one administration of Trump. They can do it again. Honestly speaking, at this point, we can't really tell the difference of the two. And I'm not saying this to be shady. Anybody who knows me knows I'm as unbiased as it honestly gets when it comes to political commentary. I don't know if I'm more perplexed with the fact that Democrats think that he's actually going to win in 2024, or the fact that Democrats actually believe that he deserves another term.
Right.
You're probably thinking, oh, Uduak, he's not that bad. Y'all are boosting. He's done A, B, and C. He's fixed this, that, and the third. Oh, you must not know about the genocide that's happening in Congo that's being funded by the U.S. And I know you know about the war that's going on in. I'm picking my words wisely because I made a video before and it got deleted, so bear with me. Democrats, just hear me out. Hear me out. Just put personal pride, personal ego aside and just listen to what I'm saying. If you want just even a fighting chance in 2024,
Biden is not the answer. And Gavin Newsom isn't the answer either. I understand he's on his little media tour, says he's not running or whatever. He's prepping himself for 2028. Whatever the case may be, he's not the answer either. I'm telling you right now, if or when, whatever the case may be when it comes to Trump and his cases or whatever that is, if Trump is on that ballot in 2024 and nothing holds him back from holding that seat, he is going to beat Biden. Period. A lot of people disagree. I'm just letting you know, if you think Georgia is going to show up for Biden the way they did in 2020, you're sleeping under a rock. I don't know how else to put it. And the Democrats out there that's trying to turn a blind eye and pretend that he's doing such a great job, an A+ job, you're doing a disservice. Don't get me wrong, Biden has done some solid things, but he has not done enough for another term in today's climate. People got to realize we survived a term of Trump already. So this whole talking point that, oh, if Trump becomes president again, our democracy is at risk. Y'all said that last time and we survived it. Now what? It's like you have to bring substance. At some point, you got to bring substance and not fear to the American people. Some people call it divisive. I don't even see it as me being divisive because my identity isn't in my party affiliation. Like, I have a personality outside of this stuff. I'm not about to just defend somebody just because we're registered under the same party affiliation. Like, no, sorry. Like, when we die and we stand before God, there's not going to be two lines, oh, Republicans and Democrats. Like, no one's cutting the line to the gates of heaven because you are president here on earth. Like, none of this stuff, like, matters in real life. So for me, it's about principle. It's about morals. It's about, I'm not about to fold and pretend somebody is the best option just because, for what? It's crazy and it's sad. And it's also frightening to see how uninformed a lot of people are.
It's America.
I already checked it in my head. What's about to happen is already inevitable, to be honest, because we're already in too deep. So whether Biden's in the seat or Trump's in the seat next year, what's about to happen is inevitable. Just the fact that people don't fully grasp the notion that we're chess pieces. Like, we are chess pieces, y'all. And I need that to click. So before you go above and beyond and bend backwards to these politicians who don't even know you exist, I need you to do research. I need you to read. Because it's only a matter of time. And I'm not trying to scare nobody. I'm just letting you know. And don't even get me started with when I saw the list of Democrats who started investing in what's considered like the war stocks, I want y'all to go search that up. Because the Republican list that I saw, I wasn't surprised. But when I saw the list of Democrats, the amount of people who are making money off of, that's why I tell people, don't put your identity in this party stuff. Like, they're literally on, oh my gosh, I can talk about this all day. Anyways, long story short, no, I'm not voting for Biden. If you feel like this is being divisive, I don't know what to tell you. Snap, crackle, pop, kaboom. Like, at this point, like, yeah.
She had to vent.
So Donald Trump said this at a rally the other day.
I'll give you an example. Cameras, why don't you just turn around, show the extent of this crowd to every corner, from corner to corner. Show it. But they won't do it.
And one sole cameraman actually did it and turned around and showed the crowd. Take a look.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to add some quick context if you've never been to a political rally or any kind of rally before. And that is that this is not a lot of people. And it is especially not a lot of people if you're running for president, it's the election year, and you're in a key swing state in a key district. Like, I saw way more people in front of the Supreme Court on a Tuesday morning, so not an easy time rallying, than there are in this room. And I bet when Trump said, turn the cameras around, you won't, he was kind of assuming and hoping they wouldn't. But I think this funny little anecdote has two lessons we can learn. First, always call Trump on his bluff. He's bluffing. He's got nothing. Always call him on it. And two, what do you see when you look at this room? Not a lot of people, but a lot of really loud, really aggressive people. Like the ones over here that are screaming and like pushing their signs up. And I think this is a good metaphor for Trump voters in general, right? Like, there's not a lot of them because he's terrible, but the ones that do exist are really loud and aggressive, but we should not let them psych us out.
Wow.
Taylor Swift holds the power.
I be seeing y'all comments. Y'all be like, laid back. You say wow a lot. I do. I be shocked at a lot of this stuff, man. But anyway.
Or to sway the 2024 election as a Taylor Swift holds the power to sway the 2024 election, as a new poll finds that a fifth of voters are likely to back a candidate endorsed by the singer. Recognizing this potential game changer, sources state Joe Biden is desperately seeking endorsement from the pop sensation to boost his poll numbers. Would Taylor Swift's endorsement influence your vote?
I'm the first president in 71 years that didn't start a war. And when Hillary Clinton was running against me, she said, if you look at him and if you hear him, he's going to get us into wars. I said, no, I'm going to keep you out of wars. 3 years ago, we had no problems. We had no inflation. We had no Ukraine problem. We had no Israel problem. We had no problems, literally, whatsoever. We had a border that was secure, the most secure it's ever been. The United States economy was the strongest it's ever been. We did some job. And now everything is horrible. You're going to end up in a world war. We have an incompetent leader of the United States. He can't walk off a stage. He can't find the stairs. He can't put two sentences together. And this man is dealing with Putin and President Xi, and the biggest threat is nuclear weapons. And we have a man that doesn't even know what a nuclear weapon is as our chief negotiator. And it's a very scary thing. You could end up in World War III.
Are you racist? I just want to ask you.
I am not. I don't have a racist bone in my body. Today we are here to honor the extraordinary contributions of African Americans to every aspect of American life, history, and culture.
You should have left Trump where he was. America was much better when Trump was in office. Biden came in at the right time because people didn't like who was in charge. They didn't like what he was saying. But the economy was flowing, we had jobs. Pull up at the gas pump right now.
What you all know, but most people don't know, unlike the African American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is incredibly diverse.
Donald Trump is set to become president in 2024, and it's all because young voters 18 to 30 like him way more than Biden. For a long time, people have been saying that Trump doesn't stand a chance against Biden in 2024. Biden was consistently leading in almost all the polls. This became especially true when Trump was set to be arrested, and many politicians believed that to be the end of his campaign. Until a couple of months ago, things all of a sudden started to get interesting. A few polls started to show Trump winning over Biden. Then a few more, and more, and more, until virtually every poll was now projecting Trump to win. The reasons for which are surprising. First, it turns out that his arrest was not a negative, but in fact a huge positive for his campaign. He raised more than $7 million selling his mugshot merch alone. Wow. Then videos of Biden falling down and fumbling started to go viral, and a lot of people, especially young voters, started to realize that Biden might not be fit for office, as polls now show that Trump leads Biden in young voters by 6 points.
I feel like a lot of us have no idea what Trump's plans are, so I'm going to tell you guys what his plans are right now. So the first thing he plans to do is to basically deport all the undocumented immigrants that are in the U.S. right now. So he's going to do that by, scouring the whole nation and just deporting millions of people every year. The next thing he's going to do is send hundreds of thousands of military troops at the border just to seal it and add more security to the border. This one shocked me. He plans on invading Mexico. He was talked out of bombing Mexico in his first term, but he still hasn't let go of that idea. You guys aren't going to like this one, but he still plans to ban abortion. I'm not exactly sure if this is set in stone, but he has said it. And yeah, there's a news article online if you guys want to look that up. And when it comes to genders, we all know the importance of it when it comes to Trump. And his plan is to basically make a federal law stating that there are only 2 genders. So yeah, it's not looking good for that side of things, But this is just a list of things that he plans to do.
No, Biden's not done a bad job. Why do you think he has? What's so awful?
So when Trump was becoming 2016, when he was going to be president, everybody said World War III is going to get started. Do you trust him with the nuclear button? What if he starts this? What if he starts that? Everybody's like, oh my God, end of the world, war is coming. Everybody was worried about it. This guy's going to be a dictator. That's all mainstream media ever talked about.
Yeah.
Then he's president, 2.5 years. Nothing. COVID then happens. Of course, things change. It was a surprise to everybody. 0 wars, 0 issues. ISIS disappears. Temperature for war is down. Economy is doing well. Everybody's happy. COVID happens. Rather than choosing to, put the onus and the responsibility on China, what do? We put it on Trump.
All right, that was conspiracy theory TikToks. Like I said, there was a lot of stuff about America in there. The 2024 election. What's the policies and procedures, how people feeling, what the streets is saying, what the young people saying, and how people view America, So it was definitely diverse in many ways, eye-opening in some degrees, but if you made it to this point, you were a real one for real. And what are some of your thoughts about some of the content? Some of the context, some of the things that they were speaking on, how America is viewed, how immigrants are viewed over here, some of Donald Trump policies and procedures. Interesting year to say the least. But hey, till next time, self-love and positivity. Fire Squad, I got you when you know it.